Welcome back to Three Season Pod. Episode
You.
Playoffs continue.
Mhm.
Yo, playoffs. We missed a lot in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, that was a part of the plan-ish.
That was part of the plan. But I mean a lot in terms of like the past 3 days, 4 days now.
Yeah, that's facts. That's
Kind of crazy. I guess we could start off with that, right? Because those games have already happened. All right. I know Natra took the Wolves. You had the Wolves making the conference finals, didn't you? Unless I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
either that or pushing the Nuggets to 7.
Yeah, I feel like it was 7, but
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm gonna be fucking really real. All right. If we did this episode last Thursday, I would have had the Nuggets in 6.
Mhm.
And if the Nuggets had won last night, I would have said Nuggets in 7.
Nuggets is.
But now I've changed my prediction to fucking Wolves in 6.
yeah.
I agree. Wolves is
It's pretty much the same. I don't think that and this isn't or it feels more like that the Wolves are playing at a level that they're bound to win rather than like the Nuggets have just been like ass or something. Like it doesn't feel like there's something that needs to change or is going to change from the Nuggets that'll like magically, get them either to win 7 or win it in 7 or win like 4 straight. And I just think that it's mainly like the physicality and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing that I can see the Nuggets improving on per se. But everything that the Wolves have been doing have been like repeatable, and it's not like they had these crazy like game winners or they had these crazy last 3-minute stretches that is like hard to repeat. Similar to like what we were talking about with the Knicks and the Sixers, like we feel they probably had like 2 games that the Sixers lost that basically might have cost them the series.
Yep.
While these games were just like, nah, they just got their ass beat.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
go ahead.
That's not. We got to the Timberwolves, man. I don't know. They like watching those first 2 games. I mean, like they like not really surprised because I was always like on the edge. Like we knew their defense was good. Like they were always gonna like, hold down, just try to stop anybody and anybody. The fact that they literally took the Nuggets out of their own brand of basketball, like just based on the physicality and all that, like you kind of could just tell like they're locked in. And like I saw the Reggie Jackson his post game interview. He's saying like we can't play no brand of basketball or Denver brand of basketball if we're getting run down, and like we literally can't do nothing. So it's like they got to be better. And I expect them to be going into Minnesota, but I don't know, man. And just fueling that team more.
It's so crazy. Surprising. It was actually really surprising to see how the Nuggets were reacting.
Yeah.
Especially in that game too, because you would think a team with championship pedigree and won
teams that already won it, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you would think they wouldn't act that way. Specifically Jamal Murray. That was a little surprising. I don't know if you guys saw the whole the antics, but it's like he threw a towel, he threw like a heat pad or some shit. It's like, hey, bro, you acting like Draymond out there. That's not you. Like, it's weird.
I mean, I could see it a little bit just because of like him. I don't know if there's been stuff like confirmed that he has injuries or whatever like that, but obviously he's banged up.
Yeah.
And they're just fucking locking him up. So like those 2 things, I'm sure it's just like real frustration. To where that isn't like too crazy, but it speaks to the concept that you're talking about, where it's just like you would think that they're past that, or at least 100%. That if that did happen, that they were able to, like, we haven't seen this Nuggets team since they won the chip feel like they aren't playing their own brand of basketball.
Yeah.
So to see it like finally happen, and really like usually teams with like that best player in the world, which I'm sure we can all say that like Jokic is the best player in the world.
100%.
Those guys are able to steady the ship, steady the team, and that goes like playing basketball, but also just like as a team. Like the team doesn't feel like they're losing themselves because they know they have the best player in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it feels like it's really weird to see that from a team that has the best player in the world and just won a chip.
Yeah, for sure.
Because those aren't qualities that you typically see from a team like that. Like obviously teams will lose, but not in the fashion or like even feel like in the way that they did last night.
It didn't feel like it was competitive. in either.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
But no, like I think it's a credit to the Nuggets, not the Nuggets, sorry, the Wolves.
Hmm.
But like to touch on the Jamal injury real quick, it is a confirmed injury. I think he was in danger or did miss a game against the Lakers or didn't miss, but
He did miss a game. Yeah.
he was on the report pretty much towards the end of the series. But like you know the same treatment, right? No excuses. They didn't give us
Yeah.
any excuses for Tatum getting hurt. Nobody gets
Yeah.
excuses for Middleton being hurt, right? Like it's just game is game, man. And
Mhm.
credit
Yeah.
to the Wolves, they took advantage of it. They were physical. I like the brand they were playing, and we talked about this a little bit. Like we brought it up in our group chat, but like, yo, this is low key reminiscent of the 2022 Celtics, right? Like,
Mhm.
kind of like Ant taking that next step. They got DPOY, Rudy Gobert, double big lineup with Cat out there,
Mhm.
wing defenders, right? Janie McDaniels. It's all such a fucking mirror almost
Yeah.
in the way that we were built in 2022 and the way we played. And it's cool to see. And yo, I mean, I'm confident in the Celtics against them, but like, if that's the matchup,
I'm pretty split. Yeah. Because
that's a problem of a matchup.
yeah, the only reason why I'm split, and obviously we're kind of talking way ahead and not like
yeah, obviously, yeah,
these series right now. But in theory, if they were to match up, I just think that the road that the Timberwolves had to go through make them feel like they're going to be playing the best ball. While the Celtics,
yeah,
I don't have as much faith in that. I think, team for team, like we match up better than say like the Nuggets. Like I do think the Wolves are also built in a way that they actually compete against the Nuggets the best because they just
Yeah.
keep having centers that
got
they
a
can throw
three-headed
at
monster out there.
Jokic. Yeah. Like each one of them are putting all their energy into just bodying Jokic, and that's not like they're stopping him or anything. But when Jokic literally has no time to, or like no minute in the game where he isn't up against like a physical center or something like that, that's obviously going to take a toll. So that's like, regardless of that though, I think we do match up better, but they have to be playing out of their minds to have reached the finals essentially.
Right. But that also,
and they are playing out of their minds.
That also kind of calls back to the 2022 team, and I mean, in theory, the Warriors kind of had that cakewalk run as well, right?
Yeah,
kind of like an.
I agree, but they have already done it before,
exactly. I get it. The parallels are obviously different. Like, we're obviously not a dynasty, but but
the parallels in terms of the teams and the way that they go about it for sure. But I'm saying like this specific year is like for Celtics fans saying that they're not either like scared or like
this. No, yeah, it's not
fearful
should definitely
or whatever.
be concerned about the Wolves.
Yeah, this guy.
Honestly, the way they're playing, out of every team in the West, they're probably the scariest team.
Yeah,
with everybody between the
if they maintain this, because like I wrote it in my own notes, but I was like, bro, they're a lot of their, or every one of the guys is basically just peaking at the same time right now, and it's like 100%. It's made their offense, like we talked about their offensive like struggles and stuff like that, but that shit really doesn't matter when Ant is playing like the best player in the world.
Right.
And that's not even like a hyperbolic statement. Like he's literally been the best player in the playoffs.
He's been on some shit.
So it's like that the offensive struggles clearly don't matter when that if that remains consistent. And even on the defensive end, like they don't have holes, but the only hole would be Cat, and Cat is already like playing his best defensive like series, but just like sequences overall. Since like they've done this double big lineup and stuff. And then all the role players are also just like really finding their roles. Like obviously Nickeil Alexander-Walker was building up to being this perimeter defender throughout this season. But now that they've reached the playoffs and he finally like found his role, they're just going in on it. Like they're completely buying in on the fact that like, yo, we can play physical as fuck, and we're just like we're gonna win on the defensive end. Like, and they're putting all of their efforts, whether that's Jaden McDaniels or Ant or Nickeil Alexander-Walker on the perimeter, and just like full court guarding these guys.
100%.
Yeah, I mean the Bulls, man. Like I said, they're locked in. Like I forgot who said it. I think it was Ant or Cat, but saying everybody's talking about their big three when they really have a big 15, and that's honestly just facts. With the way they've been playing, like you can't even deny that. Like also, like I feel bad. Like I hope Chris Finch, recovers from his
crazy
knee injury, whatever. But like even that, like he's sitting on the sidelines. I think and then having to be another the secondary or assistant coach has to be the voice of the team while he's still there and stuff like that. Like, kind of just goes to show like that team they're a collective unit at this point. Like you were saying, as deep as they go in the playoffs is how more dangerous they're going to be. So if the fact that if they even take out the Nuggets in this round, like their confidence is going to be through the roof. Like they're already confident enough, and the fact that they take down the champions, make it to the Western Conference Finals, like you never know what the hell's going to happen from there. So yeah.
And shout out to the Rudy Gobert truthers. I know everybody makes fun of that dude, but man, like let's revisit that trade real quick. So I mean, that was a lot to give up at the time, but when you look at the current results and how he's kind of like stabilized the way that roster is constructed, I think that's kind of a win-win trade now. If you were to relook at that trade, I feel like if you talked about that trade last year, the consensus was the Wolves got fleeced, right? I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, like those were always like pretty bad takes overall. Like I would say, it looked like it was an overpay. I wouldn't say
definitely looked like an overpay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was ever on the boat of like, oh, they got fleeced or anything like that. But I saw the vision, and obviously like the vision is here, or like it's coming into fruition right now.
Yeah.
I think the other aspect of it too was that worst case scenario, and like even I brought it up too, where I just didn't think that they would reach this peak, would just be that Cat could give you a lot of those assets back, or like similar assets. So at the end of the day, I always just thought it was an overpay. But the vision for Rudy Gobert has always made sense.
Yeah,
like
100%.
And this Wolves team is filling all the holes that he was unable to fill in the Utah Jazz days because he had no perimeter defenders.
Yeah, he was.
So now he damn near has like the best group of perimeter defenders around him. So
right,
it's I mean, shout out to the GM of the T-Wolves for being able to like put this together.
That man
yeah, because I mean, clearly, like I said, I didn't think they were going to reach these peaks or anything like that. But they also, like people have been saying, like feel like they're built to beat the Nuggets. In the way that like they're just fucking big. Like they're a big team, and they have 3 legitimate centers almost at all times.
They're big, they're physical, and they got the wings and the point guards to go with them. It's a really good constructed team.
You know what's crazy?
Yo,
I just saw a couple days ago. The GM of the Timberwolves now, he used to be the GM of the Nuggets.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he traded away Gobert for Jokic, I believe, and then he traded back for Gobert when he was a GM as a Wolf. Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
Some crazy shit. It was crazy. Like I saw it, I was like,
yo, that man knew the vision. He had the vision the whole time.
Yeah.
He believe. Yo, when you think about if he is actually the guy that drafted Jokic, then that motherfucker got something.
Yeah, bro.
Clearly.
I gotta find it and I'll send it to the group.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know GMs like that, and especially when they be moving around and stuff. But if that's true, that's fire.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
he's clearly doing a good job.
Yeah, shout out to him. Okay, next series.
I'll just say, I had Wolves in 6 too.
I also had Wolves in 6, Nathan.
Yeah, Wolves in 6.
Yeah, it has to be, man. This is the way they're playing, and if Jamal's injuries is like that hampered.
Yeah, I think Jamal Murray is just the biggest key. I know we're about to switch topics, but
he might even be disciplined for the next game too. So.
Yeah, there's a possibility of that.
Because I mean, they had a very good like healthy run last year, but Jamal is such a like big key into their 2-man game that I just don't think that if he's not healthy, that they're not gonna pull it out.
Yeah. Also, I saw this floating around on Twitter just before we move on, and obviously I'm memeing, but I'm just noticing that the Nuggets. This is the first time they're playing a 50-win team in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing those things.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not hating or anything. I'm a Jokic fan, but I'm just saying. Tatum beat 5 50-win teams for the record. Well, anyway, moving on.
You better keep that up.
Moving on. We can go to the next series that already started. Knicks Pacers. And Nathan, I'm gonna give you the first word because we got family ties.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna say?
Me? Bro, I got Knicks in 6. Man.
Shout out Kendrick.
I got Knicks in 6.
You got it.
Oh man, like I said, after watching last night's game, I start to respect the Pacers offense a little more. But shit, they can't guard nobody, to be honest. Like the Knicks are running on like what 7-8 man rotation, each playing over 38 8 minutes a game. Like they got to be running on fucking E sooner or later. But I think they got what it takes to beat this team. Indiana, I'm not like trying to disrespect Indiana. I just personally don't like them. But I think they just.
I think it's
I
the
just don't
fucking
think.
it's the fucking Aaron Nesmith and Matt Turner, the end of the game shit. I get it.
Well,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but it all started from last season when Tyrese thought that he had a big body on Marcus Smart, but
Oh,
how good though.
That did happen. That did happen.
The Grizzly Bear shit. Yeah,
That's when the hate. That's when the hate started happening about Pacers. But I mean, yeah, like I don't know if they got fleeced last game. I mean, who knows?
No, they got
I really don't
fleeced.
give a
No,
fuck.
yeah, they did.
They
That
got
was pretty
fleeced,
bad.
I really don't give a.
They got
Yeah,
fucking
I don't give a
fleeced.
fuck, but that was pretty
I don't
bad.
give.
That was bad,
The
man.
Knicks, bro, they ain't stopping Jalen Brunson. Like, and I just got Knicks in 6, bro. Ain't nothing else to say. Yeah, even Knicks in 5, but I feel like Indy will probably win at least 2, 1 at home, and maybe still 1 on the road. But nah, I just don't see them winning that series. To be honest.
Okay, so I'll go next. Okay, after watching that game, and this is predicated off of what we had talked about before with the Knicks being so gassed. I really like the way the Pacers approached that game. They were trying to run the Knicks out of the gym, and that's the right approach to beat them in the series. Because
I mean, that's their whole game plan.
Yeah, that's their whole game plan.
Style anyway.
And I feel like that'll work in the long run. Because, dude, we talked about it before. The Knicks have been playing their starters 43, 45 minutes a game since January. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say it. I think the Pacers win in 7. I think the Pacers win in 7. Dude, yo, they got
No, I had that. I had them in 7 too.
they got they got fucking fleeced last game, bro.
They did.
Like they actually got fleeced. That moving screen is crazy. I seen Bam Adebayo set that screen on a Monday. Like it never gets called, bro. Like every Monday.
Yeah.
The report just actually came out right before we started that it was the right call.
I don't believe those reports, man. They were saying a lot of shit.
Well, I
was
mean,
the right
even
call.
report.
Yeah, no. Even if it was
Yeah.
the right call, though, I just think those calls are pretty lame.
It's
like
so
at the end of the
ticky-tacky,
games and stuff
bro.
like that.
Yeah.
Like just
The only- yeah.
let them figure it out, or like let them win or lose like the game themselves
I think yeah.
instead of like the officiating
didn't
do it.
make sense.
So
The
like
other one didn't
okay.
make sense.
So like no, I
But,
agree. Like on a technicality, if you look at the general rule book, right? That's an offensive foul. But
Mhm.
the problem is it's so inconsistent with the way it's called, and it's more magnified in that moment, especially
Yeah,
when
in the late game.
especially when those same calls aren't called throughout the game. I think
Whole
that's
game, yeah.
I think that's where it
For sure.
stems, where it's like, okay, they obviously got fleeced. You can't pick and choose when you call it. You gotta
Yeah.
be consistent when you do.
And it makes even less sense to like fixate on it at the end of the game when it's like a
exactly.
close game, rather than like those that kind of screwing was probably set like 10 to 15 times that game on both
Exactly.
sides.
Yeah.
So for sure, like I think that was like a fleece and all that, but I do still have like Pacers in 7. I mean, it's a mix of me committing to this bit. But I do think like it is a pretty close like series between the two.
Mhm.
The Pacers did stuff like relatively like similar, but I felt like it was more like a game to game basis where it was like letting the guys like cook and do their shit in the beginning of the game. And like I said, they weren't doing this against the Knicks, but the idea of like you are a like you're a younger and just like faster team essentially.
Yeah.
They did that to the Bucks like heavy because every single like for 3 games or some shit, you would see like Dame score like 30 plus in the first half and then basically nothing in the second half.
Yeah.
And I think that concept will just be shifted in like a different way to where they also just try to tire out the other team. And they are basically built for that. I think the only like struggle that I see is that Halliburton, like even against the Bucks, wasn't really like playing like, you know, that first third of the season Hallie that we saw. He did get better throughout the series, but it also wasn't like anything too crazy. And now those were against like guards who are like
Lesser
fucking
guards.
cones.
Yeah.
They're like fucking cones on the perimeter. And this time around he's versing like Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart and stuff like that, who are actual like, you know, very good defenders plus much more physical. So I could see that being like like the real swaying factor on the Knicks either closing it out very fast or just like not getting that 1 or 2 games out of Hallie that you would need to obviously win a series. So that's like one of the biggest things. I agree with Riz where the way that they were playing it last game seemed like it was repeatable and it was good. And that's with like Jalen Brunson having like an amazing game and Hallie having like horrible game, damn near. So I think those guys will find it. Will continue to play somewhere down in the middle of that. I don't think Brunson's going to continuously drop like 40 plus, and I just don't think that the other guys will continue to have those crazy games offensively as well. So I do think eventually the Pacers will start to catch up on that.
Yeah, and I look at it like this, right? I do think the Knicks are the better team. Like, in the grand scheme of things, in the vacuum, the Knicks win this series 9 out of 10 times. But I think given the context of, like, how they play and how they have been playing for a majority of the season, especially since they got OG, I think they're just going to run out of gas, man. And that 7th game, they're just going to be running it on fumes. Like, Josh Hart, I think Josh Hart's played like 12 games this year with 48 minutes. That's insane.
Yeah. And I mean, the last game was 48 minutes.
Yeah. So, like, that's just Tibbs' motto, right? Like, he just runs his players into the ground. I mean,
yeah, I mean, at least when he has injuries, which I mean, it's like
they've had a ton. Yeah,
exactly. Unluckily, but I think it was funny because the first half of the season, or at least before All-Star break, none of the Knicks players had like crazy minutes or anything like that. Yeah. But for the second half, like Josh Hart and Dante specifically, like top like 5, bro, in terms of like minutes, and insane, it's just continued since the injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just know them boys tired, man, because I'm tired talking about it. Like, yeah, okay. So Nathan, you said Knicks in 5 or 6, and then 6. Yeah, and then me and Kyle said Pacers in 7.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I can see Knicks in 7 though, if I'm being like real. I think like I was saying in the group chat, it's just it's pretty split. I don't think it's as like favored in the Knicks as people make it out to be.
100%. I think the series is a lot
because
closer.
of the talent of the Knicks. People are just saying like, oh yeah, they got it.
100%. And I realistically, the Knicks can also win in 6 or 7. So
yeah,
but I just want to go with Pacers because I think they're going to be dog tired. And this, that efficiency from Brunson is going to come back down to earth real soon. I'm telling you, man.
We'll see.
He's been crazy.
He's been going crazy.
Yeah.
Like I think 4 games in a row now with 40 or something.
40, yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Could have been 5. He had 39 the game before that.
Yeah.
But then he was also like 7 for 30 2 games in a row. So,
yeah, exactly. 2 stinkers and he turned it around, bro.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to him. He's having a fucking crazy playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's dope to see. You know, from a Jalen Brunson truther. So, okay, Mavs and Thunder.
Honestly, I kind of want to just do Celtics Cavs because that'll be way quicker of a conversation.
That's true. Okay, let's do Celtics Cavs. Yo, season 4. I'm sorry. I think
that's crazy.
I
mean, I would love that, but that's kind of crazy.
I would love that too.
I'll throw a bone and say 5, but like
I say just 5.
4 or 5.
I say 5. Yeah,
just because
I realistically think we could sweep them.
No. Yeah. If we were like locked the fuck in, we could sweep them. Yeah. But are we locked the fuck in? I don't know.
Yes,
like I still don't know what's this team, man. And I mean, that's just like that half of me.
No,
that's
like,
I
get it. It's PTSD.
Yeah,
I feel you.
But yeah, no, I just think Celtics 5. I think Dono's gonna have a game. I think Tatum will also have a game in the opposite way.
Agreed.
So that'll be like, the perfect combination of they just lose that game. Everyone freaks out, but I think
God, Twitter meltdown, bro.
Yeah, and in the real like in the grand scheme of things, we'll be fine. The Cavs didn't look like great at all against the Magic, and like yes, the Magic are a very good defensive team. Like they're super gritty and like they got big bodies and shit like that. But I think the Celtics are one of the best defensive teams as well, as long as we are as engaged as we were against the Miami Heat, especially after that like game 2 loss.
Yeah.
So with those 2 aspects, I just think that we're gonna get the Cavs in like very bad like lulls of offense way more often than they'll get us into those spaces. And then I think we could just get better matchups, like top to bottom. I think we can like run sets or switches that will get us a favorable matchup no matter what. And I don't think the Cavs have that.
Agreed.
like at all, basically, unless like Mobley starts to or continues his like offensive progression on the bigs. But outside of that, they're very guard and they basically like have no wings. But they're very guard heavy, and I just think our guards will continue to like give them fucking troubles essentially.
Yep.
Nah, sure. I think Celtics in 5 too. I kind of underestimate. I didn't say underestimate Miami last round. I think I said Celtics in 5 too.
Yeah,
The Cavs game too, but I think we take care of business at home. 2 games, and then we'll maybe drop one in Cleveland, and then win the next. But I mean, like I said, Donovan Mitchell, he's got to be cooked too, man. Like he went to 7 games against the Magic.
He's been going crazy the last 3 games.
Yeah, he's been going crazy,
Yeah.
but now that the Cleveland fans chanting "We want Boston" too, yeah, it's over for him. Sorry.
Yeah.
that was funny.
Oh, Shane saw that shit too.
It's done. Yeah, you chanting that, man? You better pack your bags, get ready for Cancun, bro. Get them out of here. It's done.
Part of this though, like I get it, right? So I just want to touch on this a little bit. So I feel like there's 3 spectrums of every fan base, but specifically the Celtics, right? You got the Doomers, always like every time the team has like a bad stretch,
Yeah.
even during the game, this team don't got it, right? And then you got the toxic positivity green teamers, where if you say anything negative about the team and criticize the team, like, oh, you don't believe in team, don't be a fan, right? And then I feel like you got a majority of the fan base, which is like people like us, where it's like, I think you're optimistic, but you got like partial doomer syndrome, where it's happened so much, it's hard not to have those thoughts creep into your head. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I get it.
100%.
I mean, it is like the doomer, but I do just think that the Celtics haven't. They're not fully engaged there yet.
Yeah.
I think even the engaged games that we saw against the Heat and stuff, it just didn't feel the same. It just was like a talent thing.
We were missing Jimmy.
Yeah, like we were clearly better than them. And we just played the way that I feel we should have already played. Which is okay. So I don't think. Basically, like I just want them to be as engaged as the Wolves.
100%.
We know they can play as like the Wolves are playing. But if I were to see that kind of effort out of them, then I'd be like, oh shit, we're gonna sweep them. Like,
hey man, I mean, I hope they watching the Wolves. They were watching the Wolves.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So
I'm like, they're just gonna cakewalk to the next series, and I think that's fine. But as long as there's something to wake them up before it gets too late.
Yeah, man. They saw a team control C their formula, so
yeah. So
let's see.
That's true.
And then finally, Mavs and Thunder. This one's gonna be interesting. I think we all have an agreement on who's gonna win, but it's a matter of how many, right?
Yeah,
that's fun.
I got Mavs in 6.
Yeah, I got them in 6 too.
6? I don't know, man. I kind of underestimate OKC Thunder, bro.
I mean, shit, they swept. They swept. I was giving them a respect.
Yeah, gotta give them respect.
Sure. Honestly, I'm gonna say I say Mavs is 7.
Who has home court in that series? Thunder, right? Thunder.
OKC.
Yeah. Gotcha. I could see them as doing it in 7 as well, or like going all the way to 7. I just think, I mean, as much as I like the Thunder and Shea being like one of my favorite players, I just think this the matchup makes sense for Luka and Kyrie specifically. I think J-Dub and Shea are great like as a 1-2 punch, but I think Kyrie will be like the biggest like swaying factor to the teams. I just don't think that they have anyone that will not let Kyrie Kyrie's gonna cook in this series in my opinion.
Did last year.
Obviously exactly because he already did last series. And I think J-Dub is an improved defender, but he's still not like Kyrie's just quick as fuck, man. And I don't think that anyone on the team has the foot speed to like keep up with Kyrie. And with that fact, I just think Luka has also been not underperforming, but he hasn't been like, having them Luka games until I would say like the end of the Clipper series. You felt like he was having more of that presence in
more of his
series.
Yeah,
that like we're used to. But I just think that that them two as a duo will continue to cook teams that don't have the basically foot speed or the size, I guess, which is like the combination. I think they have the size with Lou Dort, obviously, but just Luka is Luka. He's gonna find ways to neutralize whatever Lou Dort is throwing at him. But no one else also has the foot speed to keep up with Kyrie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you can make an argument too that Kyrie was the best player on the Mavs for that first round.
Yeah, consistently,
easily.
sure.
He was fucking cooking.
Easily.
And you know, me putting my haterade aside, like he was cooking. But no, I agree. I think and we've touched on this before, like, and obviously this is a more improved Mavericks roster. Like we talked about extensively the additions of Gafford, the additions of PJ Washington, and you know, drafting Derek Lively, like Derek Jones, looking really good compared to, I guess, his Heat tenure, right? He's developed into a really good role player. I think this is obviously the best Mavs team that Luka has seen, or played with.
Yeah, for sure.
But and this is not even a knock on the Thunder because they have top to bottom talent too, right?
Yeah, especially offensive talent.
Yeah, and we've talked about that all season. But then what it comes down to in the playoffs a lot, and we've talked about this before, is star power. And the Mavs have two superstars. Like Kyrie has proven. I mean, obviously not here, but he has proven he performs in the playoffs. He performs in big moments, and you know, Luka's in the same boat, right? They're both guys you view in that manner, and I believe they're superstar. Like obviously, Luka's a superstar, and I think Kyrie elevates himself into that kind of like play in the postseason, right? So when you have two of those options along with a great roster, that's really hard to beat, especially for like a young team like the Thunder. Credit to them for beating the Pels, but the Pels didn't have their best player, and their second best player was hurt. So, like, you know, game is game, but I still got to take that into account when they're playing a better team, you know, and a team that we think I think of the Mavs as contenders. So when you get to these rounds,
to touch on the star power thing, I think the other factor too, especially in the playoffs, is just physicality. And it seems like this playoffs has also been like extra physical within the teams, and that's why you see.
Yeah, they've been letting him get away with more than in previous years.
Yeah, which is why you see so many of these stars and superstars like not be as efficient. Like I think the only person is literally Ant that's been like, and I guess like Jalen Brunson too. Now that he's been on that stretch, that have been like ultra or like still efficient or even more efficient than they were in the regular season.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys, like even Shea and stuff, and Luka and all them, Tatum as well, have just been like dealing with the extra physicality, and that's not like saying that they've been playing bad or anything, but you can clearly see it reflecting off of their efficiency and stuff like that. And I think that the Mavs are just an ultra like physical team at this point, especially with their front court being like bolstered up and stuff. To where I think that Gafford, Lively, PJ Washington, unfortunately they did lose Maxi Kleber, which I do think if they had him, I would be even like more sure about the Mavs in 6 because of his ability to defensively switch and stretch out the floor. But regardless of that, I still think the physicality of their front court is going to be more present, I guess, this time around, because even though Chet is a better player and like defensive player than like a Zoo, I think Zoo is still just like a bigger body. So I wouldn't be surprised if those guys show that like, you know, physicality and athleticism a bit more compared to the last season or last series. They were starting to show it as well too, like the last couple games where it just felt like Luka was just throwing everything to lob to them and they were just fucking going in the paint. Like as they start to find the formula. But I think that'll be more present from the start of the series because of their smaller front court size, I would say, from the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean the biggest X factor for me, that's why I took the 7, but obviously not trying to like overlook the OKC either. It's just the experience, obviously. Yeah. So the thing, Kyrie's the only like vet left in the playoffs currently. So I think just ultimately, the Mavs definitely they played against a Clippers team who wasn't at full strength. Obviously, Kawhi played one game, but was pretty much only like who knows how much percent he was. And then just having it was a tough series, I guess, but took care of business. And then now they're facing a more cohesive unit against OKC. So I think it's another battle test like series for them. But I think ultimately their experience is gonna definitely outweigh the inexperience of OKC. Like Shea, don't get me wrong, he's maybe the MVP, who knows? But I think he's gonna fall into he's gonna have his struggles in this series. Like Mavericks don't look like they can guard like individually 1-on-1, but I think as a team, like their defense is pretty solid. Like again, they have their they agree. So they have the bigs to protect the paint. At the same time, they play and they understand enough to play physical and smart against them. So the fact that and you have Jason Kidd's a pretty decent head coach too. So I think they'll be able to maneuver and kind of just use that experience to their advantage, and then just kind of just like take control of the series from the start of this series. To be honest, so we'll see.
I think at the end of the day, too, if our predictions go right, Dallas and Minnesota conference finals would be really fun.
Yeah, and definitely one that no one was
expecting.
I guess going into the playoffs.
I don't think anybody expected the Nuggets to not at least make the Western Conference Final.
Yeah, for sure. But like even like the Mavs pick wasn't like a pick until maybe like the last like 5 games of the regular season. At least like more probable pick for 100%. For most people.
To be fair, like halfway through the season, they made like elite moves. Those are some great moves by them.
Yeah, and they had fucking injuries to begin the season as well.
Kyrie was out a third of the games for the first half. Yeah, no, it's coming into fruition. If we get Tatum Luka finals, settle the debate. We get Tatum Ant
that would
finals.
Be fire.
We get Tatum Ant finals, settle the debate.
But like, but the thing is too, where it's like whoever made it out of the West, bro, like them guys like went through the gauntlet, bro.
Yeah.
Like regardless, they went through a hard team. So if they made it to the finals, they figured something out. So I'm just scared for the Celtics, Where I'm like, I don't know if we figured it out.
We've been through our gauntlet, man. We
have, but I don't see that right now.
We went through KD, Kyrie, we went through Giannis, and we went through fucking Jimmy Butler and Bam.
Yeah, we have done it.
Revenge tour.
I need to see that energy from them.
I need that energy. I really do. I'm looking forward to tonight, man.
Yeah, game 1 for both of these series, I think will be not like super indicative of what it's going to look like, but I think they're going to be super interesting, especially the Mavs game.
That Mavs game,
the Mavs game for sure. They probably steal one tonight. I think
the Mavs. Oh, probably. Yeah. I fully expect the Mavs to win at least one game in OKC within the first.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I have them in 6.
I just need to see how they deal with like adversity, I guess.
The Mavs or the Thunder?
The Thunder.
Yeah,
because I mean they did respond well against the Pels, but the Pels are not nearly the team that the Mavs are at this point.
They were just lacking the talent, honestly.
Yeah.
But we saw it in the first couple games against the Pels where they were not responding well to physicality.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Mavs can bring that, but with the actual star power to back it up. So, like, how will they respond when the team, one, can be physical and hit you back? So, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to
That's my most look forward series. Like, I'm going to spend the most time watching those ones for sure.
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely the most fun series.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares about,
no.
Nobody really cares about the Knicks Pacers like that, let's be honest here. Except for Knicks.
I don't care about.
No one really cares about Celtics Cavs.
Nobody really cares about the East except the Celtics, like the teams that.
That's what I'm saying, except the fans.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Knicks will get more because like everyone wants to see the underdog story.
From the Knicks,
or not underdog,
the Pacers,
like, yeah, just the fact that the Knicks are kind of like coming up. I think people will enjoy that.
I don't know, man. The kind of it's obviously just Twitter, but like. Other than Knicks fans, people are getting sick of the Knicks. I've seen some motherfucking Philly fans start rooting for the Celtics, bro. They're like, yo, I need y'all to fucking sweep these motherfuckers.
Okay, I mean, Philly fans make sense because of the way that their series went. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I think people are rooting for the Knicks just because of the story. I could be wrong though.
I think it's because of the benefit of the calls they've been getting. Because like,
I mean, yeah, after game 1, maybe that's
game 1 against the Pacers, but also game 2 against the Sixers. Everybody was like, really?
Yeah.
So it's.
I could see that. I could see it swing like very fast from everyone rooting for the Knicks because of their grittiness and all that, or
and
under
their
underdog
fans,
stuff.
bro. Did you see the video? Did you see the video?
No, I mean, yeah, it
after-
was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
You saw the
was great.
video? Are we talking
Yeah.
about the same video? Yeah. The
I
guy
think so,
was
yeah.
like, the guy was like, if I had a sister.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, what?
Yo.
Who the fuck says
Yep.
that? Oh, my fire alarm's going off. All right.
Oh shit.
All right,
Alright, yeah,
that's
we're
the
good.
cue.
That's the cue. All right.
Good.
Until next time. Peace.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Peace.